too many studios are still selling the workout instead of the outcome. Profitable studios do three things consistently.
Julian Barnes is the co-founder and CEO of the BFS Network, where he works with growth stage studio operators doing anywhere from 2 million to 50 million plus in annual revenue, helping them scale without becoming the bottleneck.
There's an economic loss that occurs when you're paying full price when no one knows you. When someone knows you, let me give you 5-10% off. Let me give you 20% off.
Let's talk about the person who grabs the business book.
My people, our people.
Our people.
Our people.
Our people. He's helped founders and multi-location operators better understand what actually drives growth, profitability, and long-term value. I would love your thoughts on how someone who may choose to specialize in something and then outsource to other parts of the industry, where can they start with finding great partnership collaboration opportunities across the other fields?
One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make over 20 years in business development is looking externally before they look internally.
Welcome to the Sweat and Equity Show, where we take you behind the scenes of fitness and wellness entrepreneurs who are building, growing, and scaling their businesses. There's a big difference between a business that looks successful on the outside and one that is actually profitable, scalable, and built to last. And in today's fitness and wellness industry, understanding that difference matters more than ever, especially as we see a shift in the industry. Today's guest is someone who has spent years studying exactly that. Let's get into it. Julian, welcome to the Sweat and Equity Show.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yes, we're going to have a great conversation. I feel like we had our initial call, and as I was thinking where this conversation it can go, in a good way, it can go many. So what I actually wanted to start with kicking off is getting your perspective of the current state of the industry. And what do you feel stable? What do you feel like you see a shift happening? If you can kind of give your thoughts on that, because I know you also have a lot, you and your team are doing a lot on the industry report side.
The industry is absolutely growing. HFA, which is the Health and Fitness Association, just released their report saying 85% of Americans now have a gym membership. 25% of the population has a gym membership, which is one important metric. Utilization is another metric. How frequently are people exercising? And that is increasing across the board. Then there are other companies out there ranging from Strava and Garmin that release their metrics about people using their devices and the amount that people are exercising. And by every measure, people are exercising more. So that's all great. The biggest shift that's occurring in the marketplace right now is, I would say, two things, and they're related. People are recognizing that fitness is actually part of preventative healthcare, and that's a whole nother topic right there. But related to that is people are starting to think about their health in terms of well-being and longevity, and people are optimizing their health for what they call lifespan and health span. Lifespan is how long do you live. Health span is the quality of your life as you're living it. So increasingly, people are thinking more in terms of longevity, well-being, and health span. And that means the average consumer is demanding more from their coach, trainer, instructor, studio, gym. They're demanding more than just a workout. Mm-hmm. They want guidance that's going to help them improve their health span, well-being, and longevity.
Yeah. And when you have those findings, what does this mean for studios?
Studios have the opportunity to. Studios need to do more, and that's a controversial opinion, because if you think about when studios became popular, starting with Barry's in '99 and SoulCycle in '06, the whole notion was the anti-gym. Mm-hmm. The unbundling of all the different pieces of the gym and just having one small space where you could build a community. And there's still tremendous value in that concept. And yet the consumer is different. So when I say studios need to do more, maybe I should rephrase. Studios need to serve their members' total well-being needs differently today than they were doing even 5 years ago. We're not in the pre-COVID era. That was 2015, 2014 to 2019 was the golden era of boutique fitness studios. The world is different. The population's different. People know more. And because they know more about what they should be doing, they are expecting and demanding more from their coach, trainer, instructor, studio, gym. What should I be doing with my sleep, with my nutrition, with my mental health? I'm not just coming here to lift weights and count sets and reps. I want more because I'm hearing all these expert thought leaders, all the podcasters and doctors who we talk about saying you should be thinking about HRV, you should be thinking about nutrition, you should be thinking about, women's health, you should be thinking about all these things. Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm the consumer, I'm saying, okay, well, where do I go to get those answers? And increasingly, the coach, trainer, instructor, studio, gym has to be the place where people go to get answers to those questions that they have.
Yeah. And in lieu of that, what type of guidance are you giving to studios to?
You always start, studios are like any other business. Got to listen to your customer, which means you have to ask your members, what do you want? Every studio has its own community, and every community doesn't want the same thing. So well-being and longevity for somebody could mean recovery, adding in infrared or adding in sauna or cold plunge or devices like Normatec. But for someone else, for another community in a studio, well-being and longevity could mean HRT, hormone replacement theory, TRT, GLP-1. For someone else, it could mean kind of getting into the beauty space, so IV drips and injectables. So the first recommendation I provide to a studio owner who's thinking about how to incorporate well-being into their business model is ask their members what they want. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, got to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
And the only way to figure that out is ask them.
Yeah. And is there, of the many things you just listed, is there anything that you find studios are hearing a lot more of? GLP-1s, they're hot topics.
It's all. I mean,
yeah.
So let's back up. First thing I said was 25% of the population has a gym membership.
Yep.
A significant portion of those people are listening to the same podcasts. We know who they are, right? Yeah. We're listening to Huberman. We were listening to that guy named Peter, but I think he's no longer on the top list. The women are listening to Dr. Stacy Sims, Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, listening to Mark Hyman. They're listening to Bill Campbell, PhD. There are notable innovators and influencers out there with credibility behind them and a lot of research coming out. And there's just so much information. The average person, myself included, doesn't necessarily understand how some of this advice that we're hearing is supposed to fit into my life. Yeah. And so that's what I mean by, we have a mutual friend who recently talked about the role of the coach, trainer, instructor is changing, right? Because and a lot of that 25% is wearing some kind of device, their Oura Ring, their Apple Watch, their Whoop. So we have more data, we're listening to the same podcast, there's more information, and we're still confused. And when we're confused about what does this mean for me, what do you think that consumer is going to do? They're going to ask the person who they see 2 to 3 times a week, and that's their coach, trainer, or gym owner. And so the challenge and opportunity for that coach, trainer, instructor is not to become a master of everything, but to become knowledgeable enough about some of these topics that they can become a referral. They can start to refer their members to resources that are relevant to them. You can't be the jack of all trades, but you can know a little bit about, okay, well, this person is really great on mental health. Listen to this podcast, read this book. This person's great on sleep, read this article. The coach, trainer, instructor is now being put in the role of quarterback or conductor, passing the ball around, a point guard, as opposed to maybe even 5-10 years ago, that person would have been the one-stop shop. But it's almost impossible for one person to be a one-stop shop now. So you need to build your team of allied professionals and subject matter experts to whom you can refer your clients to when your clients are asking you these type of questions. The game has changed. There's just so much more data out there. It's both a tremendous opportunity and a challenge for the coach, trainer, instructor, studio owner, gym owner.
What would you say is the biggest challenge?
All of it. Like just staying on top of your game. Like we're going to talk later on about the keys to profitability. And number one key to profitability that I don't talk about much because it's not my area of expertise is making sure you're delivering impact in the quality of your workout. You can't forget that. That's first. And then there's all this business stuff. You know, AI is changing everything. Should you be, if you had an hour a day for professional development as a studio owner, should you spend that on AI? Should you spend that on leadership skills for yourself? Should you spend that on taking a course on, you know, integration of sleep and HRV? Like, there's just not enough time in the day to figure out which of the things you need to be an expert in, and yet your members and clients are expecting you to be an expert in all of those things. So the biggest challenge is just trying to navigate and accept the fact that you're not going to be an expert in everything, and determine what you're going to be an expert in and which things you're going to refer out to and who you're going to refer to or where you're going to refer people to.
I love that. And as you're thinking about that, I'm just thinking about where there's always an opportunity in our industry is collaboration. I think sometimes I don't see as collaboration as often as I'd like. So I would love your thoughts on how someone who may choose to specialize in something and then outsource to other parts of the industry, where can they start with finding great partnership collaboration opportunities across the other fields?
Start within their four walls.
Okay.
Right? We're talking about anyone listening to this who is a gym owner has, I would imagine, a minimum 150 clients, sometimes 300 to 500. Start within your walls. Do you have an acupuncturist who's taking classes with you? Do you have a nutritionist who takes classes and trains with you 2 or 3 days a week? Start with who's already walking in your door 2 to 3 times a week and find out what they, I guess you could ask people perhaps through your newsletter or Instagram, put out kind of a call to action. We're looking for, if you know anyone, please have, so start with the people you already know. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make over 20 years in business development is looking externally before they look internally. Look at your contacts. Start with the people who already know you. Who do you know? Who did you meet at that conference last year? Who did you meet in church, in line at Whole Foods, in line at Star? Who did you just randomly meet? You grabbed a card and you put it away you never thought about. Who do you already know or have access to? I would always start there. After you've exhausted that, then look within your community. There's still some very active, thriving Facebook groups that are divided by modality. And then look at meetups in your community. I was at an event a couple of days ago, and I knew I was going to a networking event. I didn't know it was going to be essentially a wellness-oriented networking event, which was a bonus. And like half the people there were working with humans in some aspect, ranging from acupuncture to a couple of different surgeons. So there are people in your community who are already gathering. Go find them, right? Go find them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just hop on Facebook events, hop on Eventbrite events in your neighborhood, hop on Instagram events, and you'll start to see who in your community is talking about fitness, wellness, longevity, well-being, etc. Find them, DM them, introduce yourself, have the coffee, tell them about your audience, tell them what you're looking for, what your audience needs, ask them how you guys can collaborate.
Yeah.
Right? It's not rocket science, it's not hard, but it requires a decision to engage in outreach. The biggest decision is for the business owner who says, I don't have time for that, because they're overwhelmed by the challenges of running their business day to day. And so they're locked inside the four walls of their business and they don't spend enough time outside the four walls of their business. And that's one of the reasons why their business doesn't grow. And I'm not saying it like it's easy to do that. It's certainly not easy, but you can't do this type of outreach to find new clients and to build a network for your clients if you're responding to late cancellation emails as the owner.
Yeah.
That's not your job.
So this is a perfect segue because I know you absolutely have thoughts on this in what it truly looks like to be the coach trainer to become the operator and CEO. So as you were just referencing, it sounds like there are CEOs who are deep in the trenches more than they should be.
Well, they're not a CEO.
They're not CEO.
No.
They're trying to be.
They are doing what they think is the best, but they haven't yet fully flipped their mindset.
Okay, so talk to us about when you see a person make that transition from being great at their craft to needing to run a successful studio, what is the in-between that needs to happen to be successful?
You know, this is almost like the question of, can you teach leadership or are you just born a leader?
Okay.
Right? I don't think you can teach mindset, growth mindset. I think you have a growth mindset. And I think you start out knowing that there's something bigger out there for me. And I didn't leave my job to create another job for me. I left my job to create a company that builds impact. I'm talking the hypothetical. The person you're talking about either decided to enter this industry because they had a passion to impact lives, help people become their best version of themselves. That's everyone who gets into this industry. Now, what separates them from the people who become successful business owners, in my experience, it's mindset. It's people who realize that there's more out there for them. They want to do more. And these people are curious. They're seekers. They're knowledge seekers. They're readers. They read everything. They listen to every podcast. They enroll in professional development courses. They invest in themselves because their goal was never to be the technician. You know, E-Myth, we talked about this, right? Everyone starts out as the technician, but the people who become successful migrate from technician to manager to owner. And I'm saying this without judgment. It's okay to be a technician. In fact, there are more people who should just be a technician and say, I love teaching, I love coaching, I love being an instructor, I don't love bookkeeping, I don't love SEO, I don't love all this other tech stuff, and I just want to work with people, help them improve their lives. More people in the industry should be honest with themselves that that's what they want. And I say be honest because if you don't want to do the other stuff, then you're not really committed to being successful, right? So you're lying to yourself. So you're talking about less than 20% of all the coaches, trainers in this industry who really have the mindset to do all the extra work. Let me break it down this way for you. You didn't ask me this question directly, but I think you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
Equinox, tier 3 trainers, going back 5 to 7 years, I know they made about $48 for a session that they coached. $48. The clients were paying $150, New York dollars, right? Clients are paying $150, and the Equinox trainer was tier 3 trainer, right? Not 1 or 2, tier 3 was making $48. And you would ask yourself, well, they would be upset at the fact that they know what their clients are paying and they're only getting 1/3 of that. Okay, great. So you think you want more of the $150. Here's a list of things you need to do. Do you want to market? Do you want to write copy for your newsletter? Do you want to publish your newsletter? Do you want to learn how to use email service provider? Do you want to deal with PayPal and Stripe? Do you want to deal with integration of PayPal, Stripe into your MailChimp? Do you want to deal with credit card chargebacks? Like there's a long list of stuff. Oh, and I didn't even mention go find the client, recruit the client. There's a long list of things that the business owner has to do that the trainer at a big box gym does not have to do. So why is the individual coach who has his own clients or his own gym, why can he or she keep the full 150? Because they're doing this much more, and there's a cost associated with, you got to pay 3% on the credit card fee. MailChimp's going to cost you $100. This platform's going to cost you another. So yeah, you're getting to keep the full 100% of what the client's paying you, but then you have out of pocket expenses to hold on to. So what's your actual net from the full, in this case, 150? Your actual net might be 100 or 85 versus the 38, versus the 48, right? The point isn't the money per se. The point is the recognition that the reason you're making more money is you're doing more. And that's just as an individual, independent coach trainer. Now put business owner who signed a lease, 10-year lease, personal guarantee, has payroll, has laundry service, has all these other things, cleaning service, put all of that together. It's a lot. So you're only talking about 10 to 20% of the coach, trainer, instructor population that has the desire, willingness, and ability to follow through and executing all those other things that need to be done for the business to be successful. What's the phrase? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Well, I just gave you a long list of stuff that the business owner needs to do. And that's why I say, if you don't want to do all that, that's fine. You're not a bad person. I'm not saying anything negative about you. If you're really great at coaching and you don't want to do this administrative stuff, like you decided you didn't want an office job for a reason, you wanted to impact lives and you don't ever want to spend your time at the laptop, great. Go coach, teach, and train, and the world needs you.
So you're basically saying you're not built for this.
No, because that's negative. That's
we'll
negative.
be positive here.
No, I'm saying the world needs you. Every hospital needs physical therapists.
Yes, you're right.
Universities need coaches. There is a world where you can go do your job and not have to worry about marketing and selling.
Well, okay.
But you got to be honest with yourself. There's a ceiling to your income in those jobs.
That's
so
right.
if you want more income, you've got to do this list.
That's right.
If you don't want to do this list, then go work at local university, local hospital, local physical therapy center, deal with patients, help them live better lives, right? It's almost like being a teacher, being a nurse, being a social worker. You are doing God's work. Unfortunately, in our economy, you're not going to get paid well for it.
Yeah.
If you want to be paid well, you've got to do all this other stuff over here that is a pain in the behind.
Yeah. Where does it come in for the person who needs to delegate those tasks, right? So I know there was a long list of...
But this is the mindset. This is the CEO mindset.
Okay, of needing to delegate.
Yeah, this is... We talked when we first met.
Yeah.
I made this plug. I'm going to plug it again.
Okay.
Google Mark Fisher's business books. Mark Fisher Fitness, New York City. He is known publicly around the world as having created one of the highest gross revenue generating gyms per location in the history of this country. Mark did 34 million out of one location right around the corner from here, Hell's Kitchen, New York. 10 years, 34 million, not luxury, not Equinox, just a dingy old building. And Mark is one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever met. If you Google Mark Fisher favorite business books, that list is long. Over 50 some books. And Mark will tell you which of those books he's read multiple times. And when he says read, he means listen to audiobooks, and he listens to it at 2x speed. Okay. So the reason I mention that is we're at a point now where it's easier than ever to teach yourself whatever you wanted to know. And that's before AI. Right? I'm not even talking about AI. I'm talking about YouTube. I'm talking about YouTube, podcasts, Coursera, all the free courses, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, audiobooks. Easier than ever before to get a book on your phone within 5 minutes of listening to me talk about, E-Myth. Boom. 5 minutes later, there it is on your phone. We didn't have that
Yeah.
growing up. So your question was, how do you go from the mindset of realizing you need to delegate? My answer is read.
Read.
Right? There's nothing I'm going to tell you that you can't. No, I'm not going to tell you anything original. The list of books are classics. We're talking John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, been around for 20 plus years, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking E-Myth. We're talking Innovator's Dilemma, Chris Christensen. We're talking, just, you can't, there's sales, there's Zig Ziglar, there's marketing, what's the marketing book? Jab, Jab, Punch, give, ask. Mm-hmm. So just read all that stuff. And it's almost impossible for you to read all that stuff, digest it, and not start changing your mindset. Again, I'm talking about the top 10 to 20%.
Okay.
Because they're studying to develop their game as a professional. Here's how you know who wants to be a coach, trainer, instructor, who wants to be a business owner. And again, I say this without judgment.
Okay.
There's 2 books on the desk. One's on anatomy, one's on business. Which one are they gravitating towards? Again, no judgment. Because when I'm in the hospital and I need a physical therapist, I want the best, most knowledgeable physical therapist to help me with my recovery. So the person sitting in this seat, if that person grabs the book on anatomy and exercise phys, great. Stay in that lane, become an expert in that lane, keep current with everything happening new in the space. You're a body worker, body mechanic, stay in your lane. If the person grabs the business book, now we're talking, right? Just naturally. Because what do? We all avoid doing the thing we don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about the person who grabs the business book.
My people. Our people.
Our people.
Our people.
Our people. Okay. So you have a framework, Julian, FER.
Yep.
And I'm going to have you go into it and unpack it.
Okay.
But ultimately, when I think about the world that you're in, you are guiding studios, advising studios on profitability. So I would love for you to go explain your FER framework. Dumbify it for us.
It's simple.
Okay. I know you were going to say simple.
I'm not saying the implementation of it is simple.
Okay, the idea.
I'm saying what FER means is simple.
Okay.
Profitable studios do 3 things consistently. They find new leads, specifically 50 new leads per month. They're finding new leads. That's the whole marketing thing we talked about earlier.
Okay.
E, they're enrolling those new leads into their community, however you want to describe that. Memberships, recurring, class packs, these people who they find off the street, walk in the door, they pull out their credit card, they commit to being part of a community. So they're enrolling them. And the R, retention, they're retaining them. This is why I mentioned earlier that the part that I don't talk about a lot, because again, it's not my area of expertise, but the part we can't ignore is the impact in the front of house experience, right? Why do people stay? Well, I can't tell you all the reasons people stay at a gym or studio. What I can tell you is I don't believe someone who's received a positive experience. I don't believe someone who can say that they have had a positive impact from a studio or gym. I don't think that person leaves. So that's the in-class experience.
Yep.
Right? The instructor is slamming every single time, not every once in a while, every single time. The instructor is consistent. The front desk experience is consistent. They make me feel special. Again, I'm not saying these things are easy to do. I'm saying the formula is easy to understand. Find new clients, enroll them into your community, keep them.
Okay. So now let's drill into each. Find.
The data says the most effective lead gen tactic today is referrals.
Okay.
Right? By 2 to 1. It's twice as effective as the number 2 item, the number 2 tactic, which is paid ads. Twice as effective, right? And that's a lot of reasons behind that. People, if you're being referred by someone, then you already have a testimonial from the person who referred you. You probably have already heard about this gym or studio for a long time. You already know someone there, right? So it's not surprising that people respond to referrals, and they don't cost. If you're going to really analyze what the definition of successful lead gen tactic is, you have to get into client acquisition costs and ROAS. Referrals don't cost any money, right? So you take someone who comes to your studio and they stay for 6 months and they pay $100 a month for a membership. You just generated $600 in gross revenue with a very little marketing costs. Or you spend money on Meta, you find somebody who stays with you for 6 months, they pay $250 a month, right? So now you just earn $1,500, but how much did you spend on the marketing ad and the marketing agency? Right? You probably spent a lot more than zero so your client acquisition costs with the paid ad, even though the client paid more, your client acquisition costs, what they call a CAC, was higher, right? So referrals is a low cost way to reach people who are already predisposed to being part of your community because they know someone who's also a part of the community. So referrals by far most effective lead gen tactic.
Okay. And how are you thinking about marketing as it relates to content creation, the creator economy? You do have most brands are encouraged to have a social presence.
Yeah. So
how are you thinking about that?
I had this conversation in one of our meetings yesterday, one of our peer network meetings. Another book I would recommend specifically on this topic is Founder Brand.
Okay.
Right. So I just had a conversation earlier today with I'm going to come back to your question.
Okay, got it.
Pilates studio opened in Prague 18 months ago.
Okay.
She was the second reformer studio in Prague 18 months ago. 17 studios have opened. Reformer studios have opened in the last 18 months in Prague.
They're popping up.
Prague. I didn't say Tribeca, Beverly Hills, South Beach. I said Prague.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we're hearing that story from our members all over the world. So if you have 19 competitors in your marketplace, and you guys are all Pilates in this example, right? Same modality. How are you going to distinguish yourself from the others, right? At the end of the day, the average consumer doesn't really care if you're using, I won't mention the brands, but they don't care which brand of reformer machine they're using. The average consumer doesn't care. So it's not the equipment. The average consumer is looking for a basic level of fitness. Increasingly, they want other stuff, but they just want a basic level of fitness. So and the pricing model is going to be similar in every region. So then what's the difference between your studio and the other 19? This is where the creator economy comes in. The difference is that each studio has its own community. Who's the head of that community? The founder. In this case, the founder is the shepherd of his or her flock. And the shepherd has an opportunity through free resources that, again, we didn't have 15 years ago. Pull out your phone and press go, record, and now you can talk to your community in your voice, unfiltered. And I don't mean marketing messages. I mean day in the life. Hey guys, today's a great day because, this happened. Hey guys, shitty day today. Can't believe, this happened, but you know what? I pulled myself out of bed. I'm here. I taught the class and I felt so like being authentically you and communicating your message to your tribe. Another great book, Tribe, Seth Godin, right?
Taking note of all this. It'll be in the show notes, friends.
Using these technological tools that Silicon Valley has brought us and using them to communicate directly to your tribe. And how do you know what to say? Be authentically you, and you will attract the people for whom your message resonates.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, I'm going to still drill a little more, because are you, in your advising to your studio owners, operators, are you typically encouraging them to lean into the social
Yes.
media side? Is
Yes.
it a must at this point?
Well, yes, and so
Okay.
I'll connect the dots, because you asked me about to break down the F, the F, the E, and the R.
Correct.
There is a lot of competition out here now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to studio owners about their biggest challenge, retention is one of the top challenges. And when I ask them to break down what their retention issues are, it's usually some combination of the poor economy, the saturated market, and younger people moving away.
Yep.
Depending upon where you're. If you're in a big city and you have a lot of people in their 20s and they're still in the beginning journey of their life, they're going to leave. They're going to move, grad school, buy a house, whatever. So economy, people moving away, in a saturated market. You can't control any of those things.
Mm-mm.
So then what can you control? You control the controllables. What can you control? You can control your message to your tribe, and you can control the message that your team is delivering every day. By team, I mean front desk, managers, instructors. What's the message? Consistency of message, right? And so now I'm going to connect this to our very first conversation about lifespan, health span, longevity, well-being, because this is almost everything I've shared with you is data backed. This is my opinion now.
Okay.
My opinion is that we're living in a world where people are increasingly focused on longevity, well-being, health span. And one way to distinguish your brand is to talk about the outcome of the exercise that your studio offers. Talk about the outcome in well-being terms. So what do I mean? I had no idea why I've been such a great sleeper my entire life. Had no idea until like the last 5 to 7 years. It's connected to the fact that I've been in the gym 4 to 5 days a week my entire life since high school. Mm-hmm. The gym sets the, has what's the word? I mean, you're the expert here in this case. It's developed the rhythm of my circadian rhythm, all that stuff. Lifting weights has created equilibrium within my circadian rhythm, where I fall asleep somewhere between 9 and 10 p.m. I get my 7 hours. I wake up naturally, 5:36. I had no idea that the reason I've never been an insomniac, the reason I've never had severe, because we all have mental health issues, right? Yeah. Severe mental health issue. The reason I've never had to experience any of these things, because I've been in the gym since high school, consistently, right? In the gym, outside in the park. I can't attest to the diet. The diet goes up and down. But my point is, too many studios, coaches, trainers, instructors are still selling the workout.
Instead of the outcome.
The outcome is improved sleep, improved mental health, improved, if you talk about nutrition, improved nutrition, there's so many non-physical benefits of exercise. If I were a studio owner, I would be talking about that. I would be talking about the benefits of coming to exercise beyond simply picking up a dumbbell or using a reformer. The benefit of, we could have a whole part 2 of this conversation about the loneliness epidemic. Yeah. Okay. And what happens in gyms, and community. Even if you're in a gym, like a traditional gym, not a studio, you're still with other people. Mm-hmm. I built my home gym during COVID. I have it when it's cold or rainy. I can do whatever I want in my home gym. Remember when it was like -5 degrees in January?
Yeah, you're like, no,
that's what the home gym is for, right?
Yes, exactly.
But at the same time, can't wait to get back to even if I'm not talking to anybody in the gym, I'm around other people. I'm around people to get to the gym. I'm around people in the gym. And then if you add a group fitness class on top of that with an instructor who's fire and somewhat inspirational, where else are you getting that?
Yeah.
Right?
I wholeheartedly believe that wellness thrives in community. So that's where it
So I would, if I were a studio owner that had 20 new competitors open up within my radius, I would be using Instagram, TikTok, and whatever other digital means to speak my truth to my audience, and my audience will build organically because they would resonate with my truth. If you don't care about fitness outcomes, then you're not going to come to my studio. But I would be talking about all the benefits of exercise, and that will resonate with somebody. Someone's going to hear it, they're going to share it with a friend, and they're going to come check me out because they've heard about it. And jab punch. Every like fourth or fifth one, I'd say, here's a free pass. Come on me. That's what I would be doing. I would be investing time in the creator economy because you can speak directly to your audience, no filter, no third party's permission. We're long past the era of, I hope I can get a record deal. Yeah. No, press play, go, publish, go straight to the world. There's your record deal. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Okay, so now for the E. You did share on the enrollment, and I'm curious, what do
systems? That's just systems.
Is it systems?
That's just sale. You just have to have your sales process. Sales operating procedures. So just think about how we all interact. And most of us are, most of us are busy. And if we have a moment of time, either in an elevator, in the car, at a red light, walking down the street, at a stop sign, and you pull up a site and you see a gym offer and your email information's automatically popped up into your phone, you can press, sign enroll in any offer in about 5 or 10 seconds on your phone. Okay. And then I'm back to my life. So if I do that at 3 p.m. on Wednesday and you don't get back to me until, 9 a.m. on Thursday.
That's the window.
Do I even remember what I signed up for? Right? I don't even remember. But if your systems are in place such that time I press send, boom, I'm getting a phone call. Mr. Barnes, this is, Jackie from, gym down the corner. I heard you were interested in coming. Hey, Jackie, thanks for calling me back. Now, people are going to listen to this and say, well, no one's answering the phone. Of course they're not answering the phone, but Jackie's going to then send a text message and say, hey, I just saw that you want to come check out our studio. When can you talk? Now, you got me. But that has to be instant. By instant, I don't mean like an hour later. I mean like within a minute or two. And the good thing is the technology exists now to automate that.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite as you talk systems and sales that you...
No, they got to pay me for that. Come on now.
I know that's right.
Come on now.
Okay, so let's talk about features of your favorites. What they can look for.
Here's what I say.
There
are a lot of, there's just so much software out there.
Yeah.
You got to figure out which one works for you.
Okay.
Right. Everyone's frustrated.
What should they look for? Top three things. When you just think of your fave.
It's got to be simple. It's got to be simple.
Simple? Okay.
You're fine. There's a software companies sell to the owner, not the user. The user of the software is typically hourly worker, front desk worker. If it's a manager in this industry, average manager salary is $50,000 to $75,000 annually. And most of these people are not, they're not CTOs, they're not CIOs. So if you want the software if you want to have a long LTV for the software client.
What's the LTV? Break it down.
Lifetime value. If you're the software company and you want the studio to stay with you for a long time, you got to make it easy for the studio to use it. If it's too complicated, I'm not going to use it. If I don't use it, I'm going to stop paying for it. So number one, it has to be easy for my team to use because I'm not the one who should be using it. And I can speak for myself personally. I can't tell you how to use almost any other software that my company has. And we probably pay for easily 12 to 15 different software packages. I might know how to use one or two of them. I'm not talking about Google. I can do that. But that's not my job.
Yeah.
To know how to use Gamma, Canva, and HubSpot, and and
Not you naming.
all this stuff.
Come on. All the stuff.
Those are the ones I pay for.
Okay, that's good. And I say this because they're just, I imagine to the person listening, they are trying to figure out, it's overwhelming and new things are coming out. All these same companies are adding AI, which is adding the extra edge to it to make it easier. So I know that there's going to be plenty who are building who need to make their processes more efficient. And this is just going to be really important for them to know.
Yeah, this is a rabbit hole that they want to try and avoid going down. I would just say pick your favorite LLM, whether it's Chat, Claude, Perplexity, or Gemini, and ask them which one you should be using for your specific purpose. And trust, what's the phrase? Trust but verify.
Yeah.
I would probably ask 2 LLMs the same question and then compare their answers. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut. That's the bad news. The good news is, I got to say this carefully, business isn't easier today. The ability to start and run a business is easier today because of the availability of information that we have, the easy access to information that we have today that we didn't have even 5 years ago. So sure. The challenge with that is focus, which is why I say you could easily go down a rabbit hole. Got to really focus on the most important thing you're trying to accomplish, and don't try and do everything because that's never going to work. Yeah.
And you said too, so I think you gave enough on the retention, because now there's something you said that I definitely want to touch on, which is getting started. You have a lot of folks who are interested in starting studios. As we know, they're popping up everywhere. And it's not, I know we're seeing a lot of Pilates, but other studios in general.
Yeah, every modality.
Every modality.
Yep.
So let's talk about the process of starting a studio. And what often comes up first is money, capital, bootstrapping versus getting investment. So what's your initial reaction to that?
We're talking about our people now, right? Can we talk
Let's talk about our people. Let's do it.
We, unfortunately, generally don't have access to capital as easy as others. Right? We generally don't have family and uncles who can write a check for $100K, $250,000, right? That's just the challenge of any Black-owned business in any industry. So if you think, so I'm talking to 2 different people.
Okay.
If you're a corporate person and you hate your job and you can't wait to open a gym, I would say open the gym while you still have the job. Get the loan while you have the job. I have a couple of different clients now who ran their studios for years while working their full-time job. Years. One, 10 years. She built up a $4 million business before she finally left, right? Actually 3. I can think of 3 people. So number 1, if you're the corporate person thinking about leaving your business, I would say continue to eat the stuff that you don't like eating at your job every day. Take that check, go to the bank, get the loan while you have the income, do your side hustle, hire a young whippersnapper to run the day-to-day business, and you just don't sleep because you work in your business nights and weekends, building up a business so that when you're ready to leave your corporate job, you have your corporate job income already over here. Okay. I'm talking to that person, keep your job, get a loan while you have your job. For the person who is currently a coach, trainer, instructor, and they are in that top 10 to 20% by mindset, they don't want to continue working at one of the big box gyms, I would say step up your game, do more coaching and training outside, right? So do the bare minimum you need to do within the big box to keep those clients, and then hustle at night, weekends, traveling all over your community for the higher dollar checks, stack those checks. I guess what I'm saying is you need to have appropriate amount of cash to start your business successfully. Either keep your job and stack those checks, or if you're coaching and training now, double your output. Double your 2 jobs, 3 jobs. What I'm suggesting is the pathway is clear, but not easy. And again, this is why it's the top 10 to 20%, right? Are you willing to do You're already doing the 4:30 a.m. wake up to teach or train a client at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Okay, great. What are you doing between 9 a.m.? Maybe you have a noon client. Maybe you have a couple clients in the evening. So your day is starting at 5:30 first session, last session at 8:30, and then you're going straight to bed. But you're not coaching and training for 14 hours. You have gaps in there. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing with online coaching? What are you doing with adding, increasing your knowledge, maybe enrolling in a nutrition program or another certification? What are you doing so you can maximize your time and generate revenue between 9 a.m. and noon and between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., right?
Yeah.
And what are you doing on Saturday and Sunday? I'm saying if you really want to open a studio, the worst thing you can do is open and you're not properly capitalized. Fancy word for you don't have enough money. And I don't mean enough money to just limp along. I mean enough money to do everything the right way, build out the right way, do marketing 90 days before you open the right way, PR, digital. Unfortunately, a truism in life is you can't catch up. You can't catch up. So you can't open and say, well, I know I have enough to open, but I don't have enough to market that I'm open. But once I get more clients, I have more money to market. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So here's my other question. Is there a world, because I know you're speaking to our people, and what I'm hearing is you got to hustle, which, listen, we do got to hustle, but that's always the expectation. There are people I know who come with an idea and they got capital and investment.
Do they look like us?
They do not. So What does that look like? Do you know of any example of anyone who has had an investment based on the idea and their grit and their character is something that people know?
No, I can tell you that I saw two women post on LinkedIn this week that they got $6 million in funding for a business in this space. I won't say more than that.
Okay.
They can't be more than mid to late 20s. And the space that they're being funded in is a fairly new space, meaning they could not have possibly told their investors that they came with 10 years of experience because the industry they're in is very new. So they're mid to late 20s. They don't have a decade of experience. They may be very knowledgeable and very connected. And I give them credit for all that.
Yep.
I just don't know anyone who looks like us in the mid to late 20s who can go get $6 million funding for a business without a tremendous track record. But there's no point in crying about that. That's just the way it is. So people have to follow your roadmap, right? And it's a harder road, but you've proven that road is possible. Yep. So to anyone who wants to know how to start their business, I would say listen to every podcast that you've done where you've told your story, because that's the more likely path for us.
Yeah.
What I can tell you doesn't work is, and I don't mean this, let me say it carefully. Some of us have a dream that's so strong that they just want to get working on their dream. And I don't begrudge anyone for having that dream. What sometimes happens is they press go and they know they're not ready and they think they're going to catch up. Mm-hmm. And I just haven't ever seen that person catch up.
I see.
So I'd rather you delay your dream by a year or two to get people and cash aligned, get your network around you, mm-hmm. and go make money and save money. So when you start working on your dream, I'm not saying give up on your dream. I'm saying defer your dream until you can launch your dream the right way. And the right way is properly financed, where you can hire people who are, hate to use the term expert, people who have a documented track record of having done what you need them to do for you. And those people are going to require you to pay the market rate. You know what else we also do?
What do we do?
Oh, come on, man. I'm your friend. Hook me up, man. Look, you know me. Look, I can't pay the downtown rates. Can I get, no. I've spent 5, 10, 20, 30 years developing my craft. Why do you think that you should pay me less than the market rate? I'm really good at what I do.
Yeah.
Right? So we do, and I'm not blaming, I'm not even saying I haven't done that myself. I'm just saying, if you want to put yourself in the best possible position to be successful, you need to start the right way. And unfortunately, that means you need to have sufficient capital to hire the best people and pay them market rate so they're committed to delivering their service for you to make you look good.
Yep.
And you need to have the right team, and the right team requires capital. So if this really is your dream and you don't have access to friends and family who can invest in your business, then you have to hustle.
Okay. So you've hustled. You've got
Long
the team. A long time. My question is, what would make a business fundable? So you've gotten to the point where you got your A players.
You're talking about a new business?
Yeah. Like, so
No.
what are things someone should think about?
They're not fundable. A new business.
There isn't anything you can do to make
SBA
to get
loan.
the attention.
SBA loan.
Okay.
This isn't even race based. This is just the way the market works. Money respects track record.
Okay.
And if you don't have a track record, but you have everything else, then you have to make money so you can save money. Here's the other truism about the world we live in. Banks will lend you money when you don't need it. Let me say that again. Banks will lend you money when you don't need it. So you need to make money, put money in the bank, go ask for a loan when you don't need it, go ask for a line of credit when you don't need it. Don't use it. You need to do all those things. Have a long-term plan. My plan is I'm going to stack checks for X number of years, and then I'm going to do X, Y, Z. You know what? I'm going to give you an example. It's not in this industry, and he was fortunate. But there's a guy I know well who owns like 15 dental offices in New England.
Okay.
And he's probably doing about $1 million per location.
Wow.
Okay. When he was in grad school, he knew enough that dental offices could hire him as a freelancer to come work for a day, pick up checks, and then go back. So for his last 2 to 4 years of graduate school, he was coming to New York like every other weekend, going all over the city. One day in Coney Island, one day in Harlem, one day in, Tremont Avenue, whatever. Most of his classmates were spending the time studying or relaxing. He was in Boston. He was driving down 3.5 hours every weekend, every other weekend, picking up checks. When he graduated, he took a job, worked for a year or two, then he bought a business because he had all that money he had been saving. He had a long-term plan, right? Mm-hmm. You know how tired he must have been driving home 9, 10 o'clock, 3 hours by yourself after having done surgery for people all day?
Yeah.
He was single, so he had no responsibilities for himself, but he had a plan, okay? He bought a dental practice, and then he sold that, and he's from New York, but then he bought into a bigger dental practice up in Massachusetts. The point is he had a long-term plan, and he was willing to sacrifice for many years with coming down on the weekends, picking up checks. He had a plan, he sacrificed, he implemented, and now he's doing about $1 million per location, 15 locations, and he works as a dental surgeon 2 days a week, and the other time he's working, thinking, acting like a businessman. That template, copy paste for whatever it is you want to do.
Okay.
My point is, it's not easy, but there's a pathway that's pretty clear. And yeah, it sucks that we don't have access to friends and family that are going to give us money, but it is what it is. So what are you going to do about it? Cry about it or just make your own way?
I guess we're trailblazing it is.
But remember what I said, this life's not for everyone.
Yep.
And I don't want people hearing this thinking that they're less than because they don't want to do this work. I am saying the world needs body mechanics, therapists, technicians, people who only want to help other people live healthier lives. There is no asterisk next to that for me. That is someone who knows very clearly the lifestyle they want to live. And I think that's great that they know that. I'm more critical of people who aren't honest with themselves, who think they want to be a business owner, who don't want to read the 50 books, who don't want to take the 3-hour drive each way in the weekend, who don't want to do the work required to earn the extra. I'm critical of them. I'm not critical if you realize that's not what you want to do. I'm critical if you say that's what you want to do, but your actions don't meet that. I want to be very clear on that.
Valid. No, I think you're very clear on that. And I think you did a really great job differentiating what's required, but then also what is honored, right?
The work is honored.
The work is, yeah.
The work is honored.
The work is honored.
So I'm the son of fortunately, both my parents are still living, and my mom was a teacher for 35 years.
Okay.
She's been retired for 15 years, right? So I am son of a public servant. That work is honorable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Got to figure out what you want to do. I would say, I encourage everyone to take some form of behavioral assessment. Doesn't matter. Pick one. Take Strength Finders, take Briggs-Myers, Culture Index, Predictive Index. Become more aware of what you're really good at and what you like to do. And you can be a business owner and not like doing the business stuff, but you know what that requires?
A team.
You've got to hire someone to do the business stuff, and vice versa. You can love the business stuff and hire someone to be the teacher in the classroom. So I'm not saying you have to be a jack of all trades again. I'm just saying you need to be clear about what needs to be done, and then you need to decide who's going to do it. And if the answer is, I don't want to do it, then you don't want to be in business. If the answer is, I don't want to do it, but I'll find someone who will, great. Now you're in business. But someone's got to do it.
Yeah. And for those business owners, just kind of coming back full circle of being in the room, right? I think even you and I are a good example of like being in the room, having these conversations. We got cross-generational gems being.
She just called me old. See that? You hear that? That's all right, though. That's right. That's why I shaved my gray hair. It's all right. It's
you are full of wisdom, and I think that you should take a lot of pride in that. And there's so much that can pass on to our generation, right? And one thing that I've been honest with you about is feeling like there is a better opportunity for there to be more conversations like this. In your mind, you're like, we got to get into the room. So what does it look like to create more spaces like this, where I'd say the value exchange works both ways, because I do believe that there is clearly great wisdom that the experienced operators, I'm not calling you old, I'm calling you experienced and wise, okay?
See that? You see that, people? See how she does
that. Don't do that.
See how she does
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. And then on the other end, you have those like myself who are a part of that innovator and cultural relevance and all that. What are your recommendations to be in the spaces where we can learn in this way?
We'll come back to mindset. Can't be scared.
Scared of what?
I'm not scared. I can't answer that.
Okay.
You were telling me about the response to your post about why you should come to HFA.
Yeah.
What was the summary of why people didn't think they should go?
They did not feel like it was designed for them.
What's that
belonging?
What's that mean? Belonging. I'm about business.
Yeah.
What's belonging?
Yeah.
Right? I just don't understand that concept. And don't get me wrong. I'm not ignoring or denying that every space isn't built for us. Mm-hmm. I'm saying if you're really clear in your purpose, are you going to let that fact prevent you from walking in a space that you could benefit from being in? Every place you and I meet on the fitness industry tour.
Yeah. And I see you at plenty. So.
Every place we are at together, the leaders of the industry are at those events.
That's right. I agree.
And you and I are leaders of the industry. So why wouldn't I want to be where the leaders are? Now, I'm not saying all of the leaders are there. Of course, there are the unknown leaders in our communities. But when you're unknown, you know what happens? Here, let me explain this in economic terms.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you could be great at what you do. In this case, you're a studio owner, and you are in some secondary, tertiary market. You could even be in New York. In fact, I know a multi-location studio owner who looks like us in the city who I never see at any of the events. So you know what happens when she needs to buy equipment and no one knows who she is?
It's hard.
She's going on the website and she's placing an order for equipment, or she's calling them and her sales rep calls her back and she's this one person by herself who owns 2 or 3 studios and no one knows who she is. She's paying full price. If someone, and so this is a true story, what I'm about to say, one of our members has just opened a gym last month. You know who he is.
Yes, I do.
And so he's building out as he was building out his gym, he had different needs, and he called me and said, do you know a locker company?
Mm-hmm.
Not only do I know a locker company, but the woman who runs biz dev for the locker company is a sister. So I connected him with her by text, and if you walk in the gym now, those lockers are there, and I'm sure she gave him a discount because it came through me. My point is there's an economic loss that occurs when you're paying full price, and you pay full price when no one knows you. When someone knows you, oh, let me give you 5-10% off. Let me give you 20% off, right? You and I were referencing the opportunities that BFS members get. We get our members discounts at these industry conferences. Why? Because the conferences know us. They know the quality of our members. They want our members there. So our members are paying a membership fee to us, yes. And one of the benefits of their membership fee is they're getting reduced rates when they go to the conferences that you and I speak at, right? So the point is there is an economic cost of being the Lone Ranger. And as long as you're unwilling for whatever reason to walk in the room, a room that may make you uncomfortable, a room that was not designed for us, I'm checking the box. All those things are true. Do they want us there? Question mark. Did they design the room for us? Absolutely not. All those things, either no to neutral to negative. I'm acknowledging all of that. And still, if you're not willing to walk in the room, then you're going to be the equivalent of the Lone Ranger. And that means you pay full price. Our members don't pay full price because they're connected to us. My business partner is also brother, right? So that's why you walk in the room, because that's where the industry leaders are. And I don't just mean the owners of the company. The sister runs biz dev for a locker company. That's, she's not putting that on her tombstone, but in this context, she was important for our mutual friend.
Yeah.
So that's why you go in the room, because what's the phrase about why did Willie Sutton rob banks?
I don't know the phrase.
Because that's where the money was.
Yeah.
That's where the money
is.
So why do you walk in these rooms? Because that's where access is.
Oh, I agree. So, and thank you for giving your thoughts, because I do feel like every bone in my body knows that I deserve to be in those spaces, whether it looks like me or not.
Not deserve. I hate that word deserve.
What's
You've earned the right to be in the room.
Okay. Earned. And so we've also learned there are some events that are only invitation.
Correct.
But those invitations happen as a result of going to others.
Who knows you?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being a Lone Ranger. If people don't know you, how can they refer business to you? How do people know you? In this context, we're talking about 5 conferences that happen annually throughout the U.S. Where the industry leaders convene. Industry leaders include podcasters, include publishers, include equipment manufacturers, investors, trade association leaders. So how can you be a gym owner and tell me you don't want to contact at Perform Better? You don't want to contact at Matrix. You don't want to contact at Rogue. You don't want to contact at the software companies. You don't want to contact at the sauna companies. How can you tell me you're serious about running your business and you don't want to be where the leaders of those businesses are?
The reality is some people don't even know where to begin, though, right? Because I know for me, yes, there's Google, but I can understand. I think it worked both ways, right? So there's emphasis like be in the room, but at the same time, truly, what are those spaces that are bringing together those leaders doing?
Selling.
To inviting.
Well, they're not. They're not.
And I'm not just saying us as a community. I'm just talking generationally. So when I went to HFA, yeah. I'm like, I feel like oftentimes I'm one of the youngest,
yes.
right? It's very male dominated.
Yes.
There's very few of us,
yes.
right?
Yes, yes, and yes.
I walk in with my head held high, but that's something that's me versus someone else seeing that space and wondering if they would even get value, right?
So first of all, I was where you were in the tennis world 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I understand what it means to be literally the youngest person in the room. The difference about these conferences that I'm talking about is they're set up for commerce, okay? And let me be clear, I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I'm saying, what do they care about more than race?
Money.
Money. So if they can make money from you, they're really happy to talk to you. These conferences are focused on these are B2B conferences. Let's be clear. We're talking about conferences that are set up for companies to sell products and services to fitness providers, gyms, studios, etc. So these are equipment companies. These are companies that provide financing for equipment companies. These are software companies that every gym and studio needs. So you can't start a gym or studio without having some of the services that, well, you need equipment, you need software, you need other vendors and suppliers, right? You're not just using milk crates in your routines with your clients, right? You have to buy weights from somewhere. These conferences are where you meet the representatives of those companies. So no, the spaces are not designed for us. No, they're not set up for us. But they're also set up to make money. The purpose of those conferences is for the partner sponsors of those conferences to make money. So if you come there and say, I'm a gym owner, here's what I need, they're going to engage with you because their first priority is to make money. And that's been my experience within the U.S. fitness industry, HFA, Athletech, Connected Health and Fitness Technology Summit, Beyond Active. Those are the 5 conferences I'm talking about. They're designed to promote commerce. Everyone leaves leaves one of those conferences and they give themselves a 30-day, a 90-day, and a 6-month timeline. How much revenue did I generate immediately, in the next 90 days, in the next 6 months?
Okay.
It's about making money. And so the reason you go is so you're going to meet someone, establish a contact that's going to help your business and your clients. And the reason people there are going to talk to you is because they're trying to sell a product to you so they can make money. You're trying to buy that product cheaper so you can save money. You're trying to discover what's new in the space so you can bring whatever the newest thing is back to your community. Sometimes you just have to hold your nose, walk in the room, handle your business, walk out, and everyone got what they needed. You don't need to love the person. I'm not saying tolerate disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm saying understand the purpose of these conferences is transactional. This is not your tribe. You're not going to get validation from them. This is not your crew, your church, your past. This is a commercial transaction. Period. You take the money, you bring it back to your community, you keep taking care of your people, you build your community, and then you know what's going to happen? Those people are going to come to you. They're going to say, Ariel, see you have 3 studios. I'd like to lend you money to help you open your 4th. That's when you flip the switch. They start coming to you. So
I see.
Stop. I would not worry about how I feel when I walk into a room and I'm the only person. I would worry about how I feel when I bring resources back to my community. I'm delivering impact to my community, and I get an email from a client or a client pulls me aside and says, I've been coming here for 3 months, 6 months, and you've changed my life. That's your purpose.
Yep.
Going to these conferences is a means to help you achieve your purpose. And when I say conference, that's just a euphemism for walking into the room that you're not necessarily invited in, but you're not uninvited in, because the purpose of these rooms, most of the rooms, I'm not talking about the WS rooms, I'm talking just like these business rooms are about business. As long as you're about business and they think they can make money from you, they're going to talk to you.
Yeah.
You got to understand what you're getting out of it as well.
Yeah. All right. He said what he said.
What else you got for me? I see a lot of cars there. Come on now.
We didn't get to. So we're gonna end this on a very quick. I've been doing this with all the guests.
Yep, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. How'd you know?
I was born yesterday.
Okay, so we're gonna do. This is called the Sweat and Equity This or That, and we'll end it on this note. I'm gonna give you 2 options. You select one. Don't overthink it, and in 1 to 2 sentences,
Only
share
if
why.
you can tell me the name of the group that released this or that. See?
Does anyone else know that?
Come on now. Black Sheep. Come on. Spotify.
Friends. Woo.
Come on now.
Okay.
You know Black Sheep? Came out with Tribe. Same era. Have you heard of Tribe? This is the generational
This
gap.
is your. This
Oh my
is
God. You don't know Tribe
But
Called
I will
Quest.
go and do. I know a Tribe Called
I
Quest.
said Tribe.
Oh, okay. Well, I know a Tribe Called
Okay.
Quest.
Black Sheep.
Okay.
You don't know Black Sheep.
No.
Oh my goodness.
This is the benefit of cross-generational conversations.
Where's the producer? Give me a little Black Sheep playing right now. You can get with this. You can get with that.
You can get with this.
You can get with that.
You can that. See, I didn't know that. I know the song. I did not know the name.
Spotify,
See,
YouTube.
Is one of, and all in defense of that, there are things from our generation that I don't know the name of song, but you play it and I will complete the sentence. Okay, very quickly. Niche down or expand offerings?
Expand offerings.
1 or 2 sentences. Why?
The market's demanding it.
Systems first or people first?
People. People will manage the systems. People will create the systems.
Single flagship location or multiple locations?
Multiple. Unless a single is crushing it, which there are some out there, but no, multiple.
Bootstrapping or raising capital?
Option 3, save. Save your money and then bootstrap.
Okay. Why?
It's just more realistic. Save money, go to the bank, get a loan, and then you can be in more control. Otherwise, bootstrapping is hard and raising money is harder. You can't control either one of those 2 things. You can control saving and then getting a loan.
Okay. Urban markets or suburban markets?
Oh, the data's clear. This is not even an opinion. The data's clear that studios in urban markets have 2 things: higher gross revenue and higher profit margin. And my best guess as to why that is when you live in an urban market, you're expecting to pay higher prices. And that gives greater pricing power to the business owner.
All right. And last one here, creator-led growth or traditional marketing?
Oh, creator. What is traditional marketing anyway in this world? Creator growth.
All right. Okay, Julian.
We're good?
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for dropping gems. I hope that you had as much fun on this that I did, because you dropped a whole lot that I know is going to be very valuable to our
You
audience.
can get with this or you can get with that. I think I get with this, but this is where it's at. Where's my black sheep? Here's my black sheep. Come on now.
I'm just playing it in my head.
There we go. Get with this.